Feeling misunderstood by one of your closest friends can be isolating, but within that isolation, there's an opportunity to reclaim your narrative and remind yourself of the things that make you unique beyond their misinterpretations. One of the most painful realizations in friendship is that someone you've opened up to might see you through a lens you didn't intend. But this could be an invitation to speak your truth, and in doing so, discover a deeper understanding with one another. When a friend thinks you're something you're not, it's like a shadow has been cast over your connection. But perhaps that shadow exists because you've been hiding parts of yourself. It's time to bring those parts into the light. No matter how close you are to someone, their perception of you might shift over time. It's a reminder that relationships evolve, and sometimes they require an honest conversation to clear up misunderstandings and rebuild what was lost. To have one of your closest friends think you're someone you're not can be a heavy burden to bear. But in this moment, you are given the power to set the record straight and show them who you truly are without fear of judgment. Sometimes, a friend thinking you're something you're not is more about their perspective than your reality. It's an opportunity to communicate openly, to ask questions, and to learn how you can better support one another moving forward. The most painful part of having one of your closest friends think you're someone else is the sense of betrayal. But often, it's not a deliberate act. It's simply a misunderstanding that with patience and openness can be mended. The truth can sometimes be clouded by perceptions that don't align with who we are. When a close friend thinks you're different than you feel, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their understanding, which might need to be clarified. It can be a sobering realization when someone you've trusted sees you as something you never intended to be. But this can also be an opportunity to grow, to communicate, and to better define the boundaries and expectations in your relationship. Having someone close to you believe you're someone you're not can spark deep internal conflict, but it also opens the door to self-examination, to asking yourself what might have led to this disconnect and how you can realign. When your closest friend begins to view you differently, it's not the end of the relationship. It's a moment for both of you to reflect, reassess, and rebuild the bond you once shared. Healing comes from understanding, not assuming. One of the most vulnerable moments in friendship is realizing that your best friend sees you through a lens you don't recognize. It's an invitation to share your true self, to speak openly, and to redefine the narrative that's been misunderstood. The discomfort of knowing a close friend thinks you're different from who you are can feel overwhelming, but often it's in these moments of discomfort that we are called to grow, to communicate better, and to allow our relationships to evolve. When a friend sees you as someone you're not, it doesn't diminish who you are. It highlights the complexity of human perception. It's a reminder that understanding takes effort, and sometimes the effort is worth it to restore harmony. One of your closest friends thinking you're someone else can shake your foundation. But remember, everyone's perception is colored by their own experiences. It's up to you to decide whether this perception will define you or if it's time to set the record straight. There's an unsettling sense of powerlessness when you realize a close friend thinks you're different from who you are. But this also presents an opportunity to be the narrator of your own story and help reshape their understanding. It's a humbling experience when you realize that a friend you cherish doesn't see you as you intended, but this could be the starting point for both of you to reconnect, to communicate more deeply, and to restore the trust you've built together. Sometimes the people closest to us see us in ways we never anticipated. It's in those moments of tension that we learn whether we can evolve together or if the distance between us has grown too wide. When a friend thinks you're something you're not, it's easy to feel misunderstood. But it's also a chance to share your perspective, to ask for their understanding, and to show them the parts of yourself you've kept hidden. A shift in how a close friend perceives you is jarring, but it's not necessarily a reflection of your character. It's more of a reflection of how they're processing their own experiences. This moment offers a chance for both of you to grow and heal. The hardest part about friendship is realizing that someone you trusted can see you in a light that feels so different from the one you see yourself in. It's a moment of self-reflection where you realize that perhaps they've noticed something you've never allowed yourself to acknowledge. When you hear that someone who was once your closest friend sees you differently, it stings. But it's not necessarily about what they think of you. It's about what you now need to learn about yourself in the face of this truth. One of your closest friends thinking you're a stranger in some ways can be painful. It calls into question your role in their life and how much of yourself you've truly shared, or if perhaps you've been hiding parts of you from them all along. The unsettling truth that your closest friend might see you differently can sometimes make you feel like an imposter in your own relationships. It challenges you to find out whether you've really been true to yourself or have simply adapted to the expectations of others. In moments like these, it's important to remind yourself that you don't need to conform to anyone's perception of you. Your worth is not dictated by how others interpret you, especially when they don't have the full story of who you truly are. There's nothing more difficult than facing the fact that a friend, someone you've trusted, might think of you as something you've never intended to be. It's a sharp reminder that people see us through the lens of their own experiences, and sometimes it's not the truth. When someone close to you starts thinking of you as someone you're not, it forces you to look inward. Are you becoming someone you didn't intend to be? Or is this just an unfortunate misunderstanding in a complex relationship? Sometimes the most eye-opening moments happen when you realize your closest friends don't truly know you, or worse, they think of you as someone you're not. But this is a chance for growth, a moment where you can either reclaim your truth or learn from their perspective. The worst part about discovering that someone close to you sees you in a negative light is not the hurt, but the confusion. How did things get to this point? What happened along the way? But maybe, just maybe, this is a chance for both of you to evolve and redefine your bond. Friendship should be a safe space, but when someone you care about sees you in a way that feels so off, it's not just about the friendship, it's about how you view yourself. It's an opportunity to reset your boundaries, self-worth, and emotional needs. You may not be able to change how someone sees you, but you can certainly change how you respond to their perception. This situation is a test of your strength to be true to yourself, no matter how others may view you. The moment you realize a close friend sees you in a way that feels misaligned with your true self is a jolt. It forces you to reassess who you are in their eyes and, more importantly, in your own. When one of your closest friends thinks you're someone you're not, it makes you question everything about your relationship. What did they see in you? What did you fail to show? It's a humbling experience, one that encourages both reflection and change. It's a difficult pill to swallow when you realize that someone who knows you so well thinks you're someone else entirely. But sometimes these moments are opportunities for both of you to communicate, grow, and reach a deeper understanding. One of your closest friends thinking you're different than how you see yourself can shake your sense of identity. It can feel like the ground beneath you is shifting, but this can also be an invitation to explore who you really are and who you want to become. The real heartache comes not from knowing that a friend sees you differently, but from wondering whether they still care for the person they once knew. Can relationships survive when perceptions change? Perhaps if both people are willing to rediscover each other. Sometimes it takes a shift in how a friend sees you to reveal the things that were left unsaid. It's a wake-up call, urging you to reconnect, reevaluate, and heal what's been broken between you. Your closest friends might think you're someone else, but don't lose sight of who you are. Their perception of you is just one piece of the puzzle. Your truth is far more complex and layered than any one view could ever convey. When a friend sees you as something you're not, it becomes a moment of introspection. Are you being true to yourself, or have you unknowingly allowed someone else's perspective to shape you into something unfamiliar? It's never easy when someone who knows you best believes you've changed. It forces you to confront whether this change is something you've embraced or if it's a distortion that needs to be rectified before you lose something precious.